live. Yeah, yeah, we going live. Hey, hey, we going live. Yeah, yeah, we going live. Yeah, yeah, we going. Yeah, yeah, we going. Yeah, 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 we going live. From the 50-yard line, we going live. From the 50-yard line, we going live. From the 50-yard line. Hey.
Real good topics. All right, we got quite a few today. As a matter of fact, we got all real good topics. We're not even doing real roll call today. So
it ain't no need. It would have been a lie.
It would have. It would have. A lot of these topics we're not gonna be able to just spend a minute on. So we're not even gonna fool yourself, y'all or ourselves. Let's jump right in and talk about this Brett Favre thing because Ime Udoka has kind of controlled the sports news cycle, and maybe even just the news cycle, period, because of his connection to pop culture. But you are hearing very little about Brett Favre stealing from poor people. Do you think that this is some sort of a racial bias in the media? Or do you think this is fair game because of the cultural impact that Ime Udoka and the scandal has kind of had?
So, okay, I'm trying to gather myself. Udoka, for you all who don't know what happened. So his story is he's been suspended for the 2022-2023 basketball season for having an inappropriate relationship with a person who worked for the organization that he too works for, the Boston Celtics. And that story, to me, holds little weight for two reasons. One, they were too consensual. If this had been that they said that this man forced himself and had unconsensual relations with this person, that's a story. This is two adults who made a bad decision.
Yeah.
And if you just want to be real, if you will really go and dig into just about every team of every sport at every level, this is happening or has happened. I remember this was Bobby Petrino while he was on the motorcycle. Anyway.
Now.
So, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I'm not going to know. Go ahead.
No,
finish your
go
point.
ahead.
I'm sorry.
Go
because you really you gave the person just now that I was going to use as the reason why I don't feel like this is necessarily a racial thing. And you know, I'm always ready to
I know, yeah.
But because Bobby Petrino, he got dragged for what he did, but also not just Bobby Petrino, Rick Pitino. You know what I'm saying? And a couple of other coaches.
So this is my point, that this happens way more than we maybe know, right? Way more than we find out. You know what I mean? Like, it's not discovered as much, but this is happening quite often.
Well, and even when it's discovered, it's being handled behind the scenes and not made a public spectacle. And so that's the part of it where I feel like I can agree that maybe because this isn't this is being made a public spectacle, but I kind of got my own thoughts on why that might be the reason. Because there's only speculation on who this female employee was. Now, I think the reason why he has to be suspended and ultimately fired is because when you have the power to hire and fire in the organization and that power dynamic is solidified, there's no such thing as consensual, right? And not from, I mean, from the standpoint of like, it can't be perceived consensual.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And it's
in my head is Bill Clinton.
Listen, I did not have relations with that woman. The allegations against me are false.
That's the ultimate power.
Yeah, no, definitely. But as a head coach,
but she was drugged. She was drugged.
Oh, she was.
She was drugged for that.
But that's because we knew who she was.
Yes.
I believe this lady would be drugged as well, because you remember the first lady that they put out there, they went on social media and had a field day with her.
Oh, I didn't know that part. Yeah.
But people did their little investigation, and they thought it was the woman that it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's why they're doing a good job of trying to keep the real woman who it was out of the media.
Yeah.
But also because he was married, Bill Clinton.
Oh, yeah.
It especially looked bad on her part.
So Udoka's been with Nia Long for 11 years.
Right.
They married. They just ain't went to the legal whatever. They got an 11-year-old son.
Right. No. So why
I'm gonna take it there, okay?
Right.
It's because she's a Black woman. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We don't get the same. I'm gonna just leave it at, we just don't. We don't get the same sympathy, empathy, anything when it comes to things like this. And so either way, we off topic.
No. So I'm only gonna push back on that a little bit, only from the standpoint of is when you look at someone like a Camille Cosby, who, you know what I'm saying, people really, you know, from my vantage, people like really took that to heart, like, yo, you did that to her, Bill Cosby. But I honestly think that while I share your sentiment about, like, okay, they was together for 11 years, I think that perceptually there is a difference and how it's looked at when you're married. But if you hadn't been on Black Twitter,
I'm not. So
when Black women found out who this woman was, or who they thought that woman was, she got dragged all over Twitter. She had to, like, I don't know if she deleted her pages or like just but like they weren't playing with her.
And I'm not advocating that should be the case. That's not my point. My point was, you said him being in a place of power, and then it took away the consent. And I'm looking at Monica Lewinsky and Bill Clinton, and that just made me think, because I'm like, that's the ultimate power play,
right,
from Mr. President, right?
Well, yeah, he was impeached.
Okay, but it didn't mean this. I'm just saying
he was at the end of his, you know, exactly, what I'm saying, his tenure,
and it didn't mean anything. And so I have to say, you know, that back to why we brought this up in the first place, is those types of, because regardless of how you say the power, it was still consensual. He did not take advantage in that. He might have taken advantage of his role, his title, but he did not take advantage of her in the sense of taking what she did not consent to give him. Okay.
Right.
So that lessens this story to me, on top of the fact that we just don't know it, but it's happening all the time.
No, I agree.
Those things make me say, so what if it's not about race?
Right.
Is the reason? So I'll even bring up, you brought up Udoka. Somebody else I saw on Twitter or social media somewhere brought up Michael Vick. This, and how Michael Vick's story while anybody who knows me knows how I feel about dogs, because I love my fur baby. But the way that Michael Vick was convicted repeatedly through the media about dogs.
Yeah.
And again, we know how I feel about a fur baby.
Right.
Brett Favre, through entitlement and audacity, stole money from poor people in the poorest state in the country to do something that he could have took his own dang money and done. That is more of an atrocity to me than this man having sex with someone who said okay. Okay? Or Michael Vick fighting dogs.
Right.
You took money from human beings. This is why when this whole Michael Vick thing was going on, I need y'all to have this same energy, Peter, about people. Humans.
you know, Peter don't care about humans.
About animals. So I have such an issue with this bias that is clearly, in my opinion, what other reason would it be? Tell me, please. I can't wait to hear your side of this. If this is not about race, what is it? Because I don't understand how this man stole money from people like us. They breathe, they eat, all the things we need, they need.
Well, I'd venture to say that this is more about class than race, because he stole from poor people in the poor state in the country.
But it wasn't about the coverage. What he did might have been about class, but the coverage of this.
But that's what I'm arguing about as far as the
black
coverage.
And you white and he black. That's all it is to it.
But my thing is, who cares about? And if you think about the tonality of this country, who cares about? And especially when it comes to something like welfare, who cares about money being stolen from poor people? When we in this salacious TMZ culture where, oh, we found out a story about somebody sleeping with somebody else. Oh, who was it? You know what I'm saying? Like, and so I'm not saying that I agree with that. I'm just saying that, like, I feel like this is the reason for that. This is the reason why we're seeing, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is like some Kardashian type stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Versus real people, and poor people at that. Like, who cares?
Right. Who cares? You know what I'm saying? And that's the unfortunate part about this, because if he had stolen that money, if this had been like a hedge fund, Ponzi scheme type thing, there's no way he's not being crucified in the media right now. There's no way.
He stole from us.
He stole from us. Stealing from poor people, that ain't gonna rate.
And okay, so I do not want to make. I'm not gonna tell a lie. This is not just a race thing, but it's so racially charged for me, because in our country, while it is not accurate, it is the perception that people on welfare are mostly minority.
Right.
Which is not true.
It is not true. It's not true.
It is the perception.
Right.
It is the perception that we have in this country. So again, even to your point of the class, it being a issue of classism, people are looking at it like it's just poor Black folk.
Right.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Because we get put in as the poster child for welfare.
Which we're 13%
So,
of the population. Like,
right? How are we
the math
majority of
ain't the
people?
math ain't
It's
mathing.
laughable. It is very laughable. Like, really, for real, this is what y'all think. But I say that just to say, either way, I'm glad to see. I've seen over the last, like, this was supposed to be a topic that we covered last week, but I have seen over this past week more people stepping up to have conversation about this. And I appreciate it that it's people, on ESPN and places like that are, listen, let me tell you something. Shannon went in.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Your Uncle Shay Shay went
Uncle
in.
Shay Shay.
So
Yeah.
I appreciate these people stepping up to the plate and speaking their opinions about this, and not just letting this be a sleeping dog that gets to lie and swept under the rug. So I appreciate that there have been more people coming forward. I still feel like it's not the mainstream of media has still kind of been a little too quiet for me.
Yeah.
But I hope that as this goes forward, they don't have a choice. We give them no choice.
Yeah.
But to cover this story, and honestly, I'm so disappointed because I mean, I don't know him personally, just as a football player. I really like Brett Favre.
Yeah.
Now I don't like you as a human being.
Yeah.
So now
he's done a few things over the years for
now
me to,
again, this is not stuff that's been shared freely, but now it started to come out, all of these things, and I'm like, what? Like, I know that it wasn't Shannon Sharp. Somebody was like, his jacket needs to be taken from him.
I mean,
he needs to be out of the Hall of Fame.
Right. Because y'all keeping people out of the Hall of Fame for way less. For way less.
Just saying. We talking about human beings. I'm gonna just leave it at that. Humans.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So LeBron, Kevin Love, and Draymond Green are all about to buy a pickleball team as the National League is going to expand with 4 teams.
Yes.
What do you make of this?
I love it.
Yeah.
I think it's a smart move, business move, because pickleball is picking up.
Yeah.
It is much more popular. It is something that is, like I said, they're expanding 4 more teams. Now's the time to get in.
Yeah.
And we always listen, and we're always on this show, like, promoting people, investing and doing things that are going to keep, you want the long money. You don't want it. And so I love it. And listen, what if pickleball becomes so popular and this is movement for seniors? Like, this is a movement that seniors get, you know what I'm saying, paid to play pickleball. Like, because I'm in Florida. Y'all know already.
Yeah.
The population here is the majority seniors, okay? And pickleball is huge here. So I live in a town called Ocala, and it is a retirement place for a lot of affluent people. And so there's a community called On Top of the World that is here in Ocala, which is real swanky. Okay, it's an entire town inside of the town, essentially, because they got their own everything that they don't even have to leave if they don't want to. Okay. But they have like a pickleball tournament that is huge that people come to town to participate in. It's on one of the billboards. It's like a selling point for moving to On Top of the World is pickleball. It's crazy.
I got to tell you the story about how ever since I started the whole boot camp thing, I've been trying to go to every rec center in Cobb County to get the boot camp started there. There was one that I went to in East Cobb, and the lady, shout out to, I want to say her name is Stephanie Ephraim. Shout out to her, because she kept it super real with me, and she was like, listen, we're in East Cobb. These people in here are playing pickleball. they're not doing a boot camp.
Nope. That makes
So,
sense.
and I had heard about pickleball before, but like it was all I mean, because I was in there in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
It may have been like 11 o'clock 11 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And these seniors were in there playing pickleball for hours at a time.
It's crazy.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I told you my ex-coworker, he said his mother-in-law, she lives here in Florida, a huge pickleball.
Yes, we talked about her.
Fan. Yes.
Yeah.
A huge pickleball player. Like, he's an athlete, like athlete. He trains, he does, and he said she whooped his butt. I love it. I'm here for it. I want to see, this is an opportunity for, especially because our country is, we're shifting in the way that, like, so there's so many more seniors now.
Yeah.
And they're active. Like, we're not seniors like they used to be. You know what I mean? Like, senior citizens are not old, decrepit, and sitting at home rocking in chairs and watching TV till they die. It's literally they're active. They're moving, they're doing. That's why on top of the world, I was like, shoot, I need to move over there. They got more social life than anybody around here.
Oh, man.
So, yeah. It's that kind of thing. So I'm here for it. I think it's a smart investment on their part to get in while it's still relatively young. Now y'all will be making money for years to come just off of that investment. So good for them. I love it.
Good for them.
Yeah.
I love them adding, you know what I'm saying, the stuff to the portfolio, the stuff that is like, you know, not already arrived, but it's like, yo, this has the potential for like some major growth. Let's jump on in here.
Yep, absolutely.
All right. Now, Book Dog Sports.
Yep.
A father and son. And let me get their names right. Oronde Booker and his 14-year-old son, Kendall Booker, are the founders of Book Dog Sports. And it's an Atlanta-based sporting good company.
Yes.
When I heard this, because a few years back, I was in talks to kind of help this company, and I won't say their name because they have to pay us for the publicity.
Right.
I was in talks with helping a company get started who was getting into apparel and sporting goods. And initially, I had to go back and research. I thought that was like a Black-owned company, and so. Unfortunately, it wasn't. Well, not unfortunately. Well, yeah, unfortunately, because I was working with them because I thought it was a Black-owned company. Or I was in talks to work with them because I thought it was a Black-owned company. But I went back and found out that it wasn't. You know what I'm saying? And that part was disappointing because I should have done my research a little more. But to hear about this Black-owned company with the father and his 14-year-old son, who, like, this is invaluable. For a 14-year-old.
For a 14-year-old, for sure.
To hear about this and to hear about it being down here, like now I'm ready to go help, you know what I'm saying? Like,
what can I do to help y'all?
But
right? Yeah. No, I love it. And the thing is, like, they're not, so to make it clear, like, they're not doing necessarily, I mean, they might do merch, but I know that the goal was about actual, like, equipment.
Right.
That's what's different too. Like, they are selling equipment, like basketballs. I think is how they started. It was about the feel of the basketballs, and they were like, we can do something better and make it better. And so I am really proud of the mindset of this father to say, son, it's not just me, we. So I'm teaching you from now, like, this is foundational years of your life, but you will know how to be a businessman. And this is amazing. And I love it. And I wish them nothing but the best. I hope they get air contract that they can.
Oh, that's that east side of Atlanta right there. That's just came off.
Air contract. That's okay. East side, yep. Potato forever, baby. Yes, no, but
potato is greater.
That's right. So I'm just I'm just really excited. I hope that they do well. And like you said, like if there's something we can do, like y'all call us up, hit us. We'll promote y'all. We'll do whatever we can.
Yeah, whatever we can do.
Whatever we can do. Like it is absolutely necessary to support them. So I love it. I love this. I thought it was real dope. It could have been a feel-good final thought, actually.
It could have,
yeah. Yeah. We can have a talk about it. Yeah.
So Tua.
Yeah.
And the Miami Dolphins. The story just keeps going down for the Dolphins and owner Stephen Ross. He's another owner that we need to get up out of here.
Your place and him. It's 3 of them that I can think 4 that I can think of.
Oh yeah.
We
already talked about my owner.
Jerry Jones.
Yeah.
This dude.
No. Jerry Jones, I'm talking about Daniel Snyder.
Oh yeah.
Get him about
Daniel Snyder, Jerry Jones, Shaw,
Stephen Ross,
and this one. Yeah, them 4.
Mm-hmm. So to kind of give you guys a little bit of an idea about what we're talking about, is last Sunday we saw Tua Tagovailoa take a shot, and we saw his helmet bounce off the ground. He got up wobbly and woozy.
I mean, clearly not able to. Yes, he was shaking his head, even like, "Let me get the car."
And he grabbed his head.
Yeah,
which is a clear indication of some sort of a head injury, head trauma.
Absolutely.
And so when he came back in the game, everybody was wondering, like, okay, how did he get cleared by this independent physician to come back in this game after experiencing what we all knew to be head trauma?
Absolutely.
So they gave us this cockamamie story about it being his back. And that was the reason why he was, stumbling all around the field, which nobody bought, nobody believed.
Back injury. What?
So on a short turnaround Thursday game from Sunday to then Thursday, the Dolphins went out and played again. And when Tua's head bounced off the ground and we saw his hands lock up and him lose consciousness, everybody knew that this had something to do with the injury that he had sustained a few days prior. You sent me the article yesterday about the physician, that independent physician who was fired by the NFLPA for this.
Mm-hmm.
And I truly believe that he was scapegoated.
And that's possible. But at the end of the day, your name is what's going out there.
You attached to it.
And you unfortunately, you allow yourself to be scapegoated so the person I am, my thought process is, I don't really care what y'all want. My name is on it.
Right.
I don't really care what you want.
No. So I'm not saying that he shouldn't have been fired. Listen, you're supposed to be independent. If you are swayed by the organization to clear this man and let him go back out there, you deserve to be fired, but the head coach deserves to be fired, the GM deserves to be fired, and the owner should have to sell his team.
So, what's his name? Mike McDaniel?
Mike McDaniel.
I believe that his emotional state about this was guilt.
Yes.
I appreciated that he had enough empathy to feel guilty. Because he was literally, he kept coaching, but it was obvious watching him. His nose was red. He was in an emotional state.
Right.
Even then. And this could be true. Like his whole statement afterwards is like, I told him, he said when they were on the plane and he was sitting next to him and he's trying to figure out when he could get back. And I told him, we're not worried about that. We're worried about the person. I sincerely hope that is truly how you feel. But what happened doesn't go with that. Those two statements don't. Because if you were really this was truly about the person, you would have said, I think you should just sit out.
Yeah.
It ain't like you don't have a good backup. Teddy is not a crap, okay?
Right.
So you just sit out. And even if, and then I know, so here's what I do know. Happens all the time. That these players are so passionate and want to play. And sometimes they'll come and be like, no, let me play. Like I want, and Tua seems like it's in him. He one of those, you know what I mean? No, I need to be out there. I want to play. And as much as he might have been begging for this to happen, as much as they wanted him to play, if you really were thinking about him as the man and not just your quarterback, then you should have just said no.
Yeah.
And I know, and again, rookie head coach, young guy.
Yeah.
You might not have had I don't know another word to put, cojones, to say no to him in that moment. So I don't know if I would say fire him, but this was a lesson, if nothing else, for him.
I'm going to tell you why I would say fire him. Because we know that, what's his last name? Man, I almost made the same mistake that Bill Belichick made. I almost called Brian Flores Brian Daboll.
Oh.
We know that Brian Flores would have had the cojones to say, no, as much as I don't want you to be my starting quarterback, your health means more to us, because you can just see in the way that he's carried himself that he's a man of integrity.
Absolutely.
And that he understands that football is a game and that it's bigger than that. You could see that by him not willing to acquiesce to the owner's demands on trying to get Tom Brady.
Right.
You know, or taking the money for losing games.
Right. Right.
And so I feel like Mike McDaniel is just as culpable as this independent physician, because now everybody's name is attached to this. Now I understand that they're not going to hold themselves accountable, because this is actually a lawsuit.
Absolutely.
This is a lawsuit, and the NFL thought that lawsuit stuff was behind them.
No, not now.
If I'm Tua, even in wanting to go back in the game, unless I sign a waiver saying that I give up my rights, you all are supposed to protect me from myself.
Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. That's the part. Like, you got to be, if that's really your mindset of what you said to him on the plane, was your mindset, it should have been your mindset last week. And definitely, well, he should have never.
He shouldn't have made it to Thursday.
He shouldn't have made it to be in the game again last week. Let's just start there. So, I mean, to the fact that he got to Thursday, well, you let him back in last week, so why wouldn't he play this week? That was his thought process, I'm sure. Like, but it's all just wrong on so many levels. And everybody got a part. Tua got a part to play, because he could have. Because I know the only reason they let you back in that game is because you lied and faked it.
Yeah. You probably went along with my back. You know what I'm saying?
And you went out there. Because if it's me, I'm like, I'm not going back out there.
Right.
I would have been Antonio Brown at that moment.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Lord. It's a good thing. It's a good thing we're not gonna touch that story with him.
Well,
I'll send you the video.
I already know.
Okay. Yeah.
Again, Antonio Brown, I'm here.
Yeah.
If nothing else, I'm not gonna talk about your mental health ever again, because we've already covered that. But you need some accountability, sir.
Yeah.
For your actions. And that's what a life coach does. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, but Tua, it's scary. That's all I can say.
Mm-hmm.
I felt everything drop to my stomach when I saw him with his fingers like that. It just, it's so scary.
I've had concussions, and back in the day, it was just called getting your bell rung.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I've had concussions. I've even been knocked unconscious on the field.
Mm-hmm.
And there was nobody to say, you shouldn't go back in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you woke now?
Mm-hmm.
All right, go ahead, take you a few plays, get on back in there. You know what I'm saying?
It's a phone call, yeah.
Yeah. Thankfully, that happened. That was in high school, so that didn't happen in college.
Jesus, that's scary, though.
Yeah. And from what was told to me, I was actually snoring on the field.
So you was out, like,
yeah.
for real.
So I was out, but we know more now than we did back then. Yeah. So there's no excuse for this.
None.
And so all people who were involved, team doctor, independent doctor, head coach, GM, owner, all need to be held accountable.
Except that he got to be held. Tua has to on some level.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm just wishing him full recovery.
Yeah.
Let's start there. Full recovery.
Full recovery.
Full recovery.
Yeah.
I don't think we have to worry about that. I don't think he'll see the field until
it's gonna be a while.
Sure.
Teddy
He'll be sure. You go Teddy Bridgewater. This is his team for right now.
Yeah.
They're gonna be sure before he hits the field again. Mm-hmm.
And I like Teddy too. I was so glad.
I am such a Teddy Bridgewater fan. And he's just such a class act. He doesn't. He's that dude that don't complain.
Right. Fine,
I gotta back you up. I'm good with that. I'm probably good enough to be the starter, but it's okay. I'm gonna back you up.
Yeah.
And when I get out there, I'm cool, calm, collected, do what I get. Mm-hmm. He is the ultimate like utilitarian quarterback to me.
Yeah.
He just gonna go do what he need to do.
Right. Great backup to have. Great backup to have.
He can be somebody's starter.
Mm-hmm.
Real talk.
I was sad that they got rid of him out there, and when he came in for Drew Brees and went on that 6-0, 6-1 run.
Yeah, I didn't understand.
I was sad that the Saints got rid of him then. They sent him over to Carolina,
and he went and did his thing again, and nobody seems to really appreciate what he can bring to the table. And Lord knows, the one place I would see him going that he would really have a great impact, New England.
He is a New England quarterback.
He is a New England quarterback. He would do so well with the mad scientist.
Belichick.
Bill Belichick. He would do so well with him. He's absolutely that dude.
They need to make that happen. Because I don't know if Mac Jones is it.
He's not.
And they got Brian Hoyer up there.
Anyway, you need to get Teddy Bridgewater. He would be ultimate. Bill Belichick. New England could turn things around with Teddy Bridgewater.
Me too. I truly believe that too.
Yeah. Anyway, and you know how I feel about New England, but I know that'd be a good space for him.
Right. That's one of those things where I put my, you know what I'm saying, my personal hate for them down for the betterment of him, Teddy Bridgewater, because I'm such a fan. For the betterment of his career, I think going to New England would be, it would work well for both of them.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. We all lost, but it's okay.
Right.
That's okay. Y'all know we ain't had this in 2 weeks. We had to get it in.
Yeah, we had to.
Now put the cameras on me. 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 Put the cameras on me.